You may have noticed that my camera angle is a little bit different. That's because I have upped the production quality because Black Ops 6 is upon us. And with it getting closer, there's more and more information that you need to know for launch, before launch, and moving into actually playing the game. In today's video, we're going to be looking at launch times, how you can get your hands on the game early, the day one update, what is changing, and some specifics in various different game modes that you're going to want to know right away once you hop into the game. So without further ado, let me get into it, and starting off with when you can play the game. So unlike previous years, this year everyone can preload the game, and as of right now, it's live for everyone. Whether you're on PlayStation, Xbox, or PC, everyone can preload the game if you have it pre-ordered. So if you're going to be playing day one, you're going to want to make sure you do that now. However, when can you play is a different story. If you're on Battle.net or Steam, the only times you can play is midnight on the 25th in Eastern Time. It's a global launch. However, if you are on other consoles, so Xbox, PlayStation, or even Game Pass on PC, there is another way. Simply enough, on Xbox, simply go to your Xbox and change your location to New Zealand, because that is 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 24th, much earlier, which is midnight in New Zealand time. Now, if you're on PlayStation, some people say you can just log into your Activision account and change your location to a real world New Zealand address. From the past, I have not seen that actually work. So what you are going to need to do is, instead of doing that, you actually have to create an entire new PlayStation account. Make sure that PlayStation account is based in New Zealand. Buy another copy, a New Zealand copy of that game, which to do that, you're going to have to buy New Zealand PlayStation cards, and then you're going to have to link your Activision account with that PlayStation account in New Zealand. It isn't that easy, and honestly, it's going to cost you quite a bit of money. Now, we've talked about playing the game early, but on top of that, there's also going to be changes that are happening on day one. This happens every single year. There is a day one update. Now, I don't know what is going to be in that update. There will probably be patch notes that are put out, so make sure you're following me on Twitter, and I will tweet those out when they go live. However, yeah, the day one update is 100% going to happen. If you're hopping in right away, you may not be starting completely from zero with Black Ops 6, because if you pre-ordered the Vault Edition, you're going to have some operators that are immediately available, but more importantly, some weapon blueprints. Now, why are these important? Because when you're starting from level 0 in this game, everything is going to be locked, but once you unlock that creator class, all of the weapon blueprints that you have, all of those weapons you're immediately going to be able to use. Now, we're going to come back to weapons in a minute, but for now, that's what you need to know. Now, there's also some other rewards you can earn on day one, including some double XP. And what I mean by this is there are some promotions going on. One, for example, is Little Caesars. When you buy Little Caesars, you can use your receipt and get yourself some in-game items or double XP, double weapon XP, and I don't know anything about that one. There's also the monster one that goes on as well. That one, you buy a monster, you get bonuses for it. But on top of that, there's some other ones that you might have already partaken in as well without even knowing. If you played the beta, there's actually a bunch of in-game items, including a weapon blueprint that you unlocked by simply leveling up through the beta. And there's also campaign rewards in this game as well, where if you play your way through the campaign first, which is what I'm going to be doing, we'll talk about that in a second, but these rewards are given to you in multiplayer and zombies for you to use after completing the campaign. If you're wondering about the campaign story and things along those lines, I have a whole separate video going over that, the zombie story. It came out yesterday, so that'll be linked down in the description and after the video. If you're wondering what I'm going to be playing first up, there's going to be a video going on this channel at 7 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, and then around 9 Eastern Standard Time, there is going to be a live stream on this channel and on my Twitch that is going to be the entire campaign playthrough, so I hope to see you guys there. And then after that, there's going to be a million videos everywhere, so just follow me on all the social links down in the description everywhere. Speaking of which, another way that you can earn some free stuff is simply by watching me on Twitch, and I am going to be live a lot throughout the weekend and the weeks to follow, so if you want to earn those sweet Twitch drops simply by watching a stream, you can check out my Twitch link down in the description. Now, the one thing that you're going to want to know before anything else when playing Black Ops 6 is progression, how it works, what modes it works in, and exactly how and what you can level up and unlock. So starting out with leveling and prestiging, your 1 to 55 levels kind of work how they always do in Call of Duty. As you level up to level 55, you unlock various different items, whether those be weapons, whether those be perks, whether those be things in zombies like field upgrades. That is how you unlock those. But then once you hit 55, you can prestige, and then everything is locked once again. However, when you prestige, you are actually going to be able to get one permanent unlock token as well as some items as you go through that next prestige. Sometimes you are given an operator right away. Other times you have to hit level 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50 to unlock individual items. And it's going to be different every single prestige, and each prestige is based off of a different Black Ops game, which honestly is pretty cool. Now, once you hit prestige number 10 and make your way to your master prestige, after every 100 levels, you unlock various different prestige icons. So for level 100, you unlock the prestige 1 icons. For level 800, you lock the prestige 8 icons for every single Black Ops game. On top of that, there is a brand new camo system. Now, to make this one as simple as possible and do it as fast as possible, there are different types of camos. There are military camos, and then there are special, and then there are mastery camos. Military camos are per weapon, and in multiplayer, for example, they are all based off of headshots, so getting 5 to 100 headshots. Special are for all weapons, so these will be your more broad contracts, like, for example, get 30 kills with this weapon shortly after reloading, and when you unlock those specials, those are for all weapons. And then masteries are for individual weapons. To get gold, you have to get the 2 special camos on a weapon. To get diamond, you have to get all gold on a subset of weapons like all assault rifles. To dark spine, you have to get diamond on all weapons, and dark matter, you have to get dark spine on all weapons. So this grind exists in all modes. So multiplayer, like we just talked about, but on top of that, zombies. And then when Warzone is integrated with Black Ops 6 in Season 1, which is leaked to be November the 14th, it will be integrated in Warzone as well, and it's going to have its own mastery camo. There's also calling cards, which are going to have a ton of them in all modes, which each mode is going to have its own 100%er calling card, as well as a new mastery badge system. Basically, every single item in the game has mastery badges where you can level them up all the way to gold, and if you get all gold in a subset, like all field upgrades, all assault rifles, things like that, then they turn to diamond. Pretty straightforward. So let me once again give you a little trick here. When you start playing the game, you're going to want to level up your character fast. You're going to want to level up weapons fast, but honestly, that is not the most important, because in this game, to complete camo challenges and other challenges, I'm assuming like badges, you do not need to level up your weapon all the way to start completing those. So to get character XP the fastest and to unlock all of these things the fastest, vary the things that you are using. Pay attention to the challenges that you are completing, and that'll help you level up faster because you'll get more XP as you unlock various different things, as well as complete challenges for a wider variety of items. Now, speaking of which, let's now move into multiplayer. So for multiplayer, starting off with the modes you can play at launch, we have Team Deathmatch, Domination, Search and Destroy, Kill Confirmed, Free for All, Hardpoint, Gunfight, which is your 2v2 playlist, Headquarters, Kill Order, and finally Control. Now we have alternate modes where we have face-off maps, which are smaller 2v2 maps. These are actually going to be a little bit faster for you to play on and to level up on normally as well, but these ones, face-off, does not have score streaks enabled on it. Also, there is Hardcore as well, which if you're going for headshot challenges, this is probably going to be your forte, so maybe start with these for some weapons, and it'll allow you to level up weapons and unlock some camos pretty much right away. There's a total of 33 weapons, which I'll all have pop up on screen here. I'm not going to read through them all. I did that yesterday. Again, that video linked down in the description. Now, what I do want to say about weapons in this game is, as I mentioned, you can unlock camos before you've leveled up the weapon all the way. So in other words, the good thing about leveling up weapons is getting the actual attachments for them. And more than ever, attachments are extremely important in Black Ops 6 because almost all of them have no downsides. So all of the attachments that you are unlocking as you level up these weapons in Black Ops 6 are actually going to improve your weapon. There's not going to be a bunch of them that are just going to be horrible and make your weapon worse. So you're really going to want to pay attention to those as you level them up, and pay attention to the camos that you're completing as you do so. Also, reticles. The reticles are, once again, in the game, there's lots of them, but this time there are reticle challenges, which are going to actually change up what your reticle looks like, which are fun to complete as well. Now, what I am going to give you some info on is create a class. So the things that are new and created class this time are number one, wild cards, some of which are very important, like some give you 8 different attachments or allow you to use 2 primary weapons or allow you to use an extra perk. That's the one I think is most powerful. Speaking of perks, the other things that is new is there are colors of perks. So in perk 1, 2, and 3, there are 3 different colors: red, green, and blue. If you use 3 perks of the same color, it is going to give you a combat specialist bonus. These are very powerful. The red one allows you to heal and regenerate health faster upon getting kills, as well as move faster after kills. The blue one allows you to see through walls when you spawn in, as well as get notified when anyone is looking at you outside of your field of view. The green one, well, the green one essentially just helps you earn kill streaks faster. Also, with all of your loadouts, you have a permanent melee weapon. So if you want to use a melee weapon, you just hold the melee button and then you can run around with it. Important thing to know about that is when you're holding a melee weapon, you actually have unlimited tac sprint, which is the fastest way to move in game. Now, if you want to know all of the maps, I was going to go through them all, but what you need to know about the maps is the face-off maps or the 2v2 maps that you can play face-off on with 6 people on them. Those are going to be where you're going to get your kills the fastest. The rest of the maps are small to medium-sized maps, and in this game, there really is no big maps. It's going to be probably the fastest paced Call of Duty game ever because of the other thing that I haven't talked about yet, Omni movement. Now, I've gone in depth with Omni movement several times, but there is going to be a learning curve with Omni movement. The biggest tip I can give you for that is right when you boot up the game, the first thing you're going to want to do is go into your movement, change the sprint assist to tactical sprint assist, and set that delay. You're gonna have to press a button to show more settings there, but set the delay to 0. This is going to improve your movement immediately. It's the best tip I can give you for launch without a shadow of a doubt. And that's no matter what mode you're playing, whether that be campaign, multiplayer, or the next thing we're going to talk about, zombies. So as far as zombies goes, I kind of went over all of the story stuff yesterday, but what you need to know is at launch, there are 2 different maps. There's what people are calling the casual map, being Liberty Falls. It is kind of, I think, a smaller map, a little bit brighter. And then we have Terminus Island. This is the one I think I'm going to be jumping into first. It's a little bit bigger. Hardcore zombies fans are really excited about this one. And both of them are going on at the exact same time, narratively wise. Now, the one thing that you may be wondering about is Easter eggs. If you are going for that Easter egg hunt to be the world's first person to find it, it actually starts after launch. It starts on October 25th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So basically 10 hours after the final launch of the game for essentially everyone. Now, loadouts and zombies work similar to multiplayer, but the one big difference is gobblegums compared to perks. Now, gobblegums can be earned in game. I want to be clear, I don't fully understand how these gobblegums actually work. It says every couple of rounds you might get a couple, but you can also buy them. We don't know whether that's through bundles or just buying gobblegum packs. That part is really confusing. Now, the one thing I do know how it works is augments. Augments basically exist for everything in the game, whether you're talking about a perk, whether you're talking about a field upgrade, or whether you are talking about ammo mods. For each of these, there are 6 augments, 3 minor, 3 major. On each of them, you can equip 1 major and 1 minor. To unlock these, you have to select one to research and then get XP in game. So on top of leveling up your character in zombies, you also need to level up weapons like you do in multiplayer, but on top of that, augments as well. And it appears as though you can actually only level one of these at a time. Now, this brings us to the final 2 things that I have not talked about yet. Number 1 is the firing range. The firing range is making a return. There's going to be more stats in it and a way to measure recoil on a recoil plate, which is pretty cool. The other thing is theater mode. Now, theater mode supposedly is only going to be working in multiplayer. So unfortunately for zombies, for Warzone, when that comes out and when that's joined together, it will just be in multiplayer, unfortunately. But I think that pretty much covers everything for launch, all of the details that you need to know. As you can tell, this is going to be a huge launch. I think probably the biggest one we have seen in years and years. On top of that, everything is coming out at the same time. So you're going to want to make sure you're subscribed to me here, subscribed over on my second channel, check out my Twitch. There's going to be things, videos, streams going up all over the place, but needless to say, even if you don't, I appreciate you making your way through this video. If you enjoyed it, I'd appreciate it if you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn notifications on, and all that kind of jazz. But as always, launch is upon us. It's coming first thing tomorrow morning. Be ready, be there. I hope to see you there. As always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace. We are